Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Here's a daily news report and fourth stimulus check update. In this video, I will be bringing you up to date on the latest stimulus news and information. Folks, you have to know this. States are now passing more stimulus bills, and there's a big chance for you to get some free stimulus money. So everybody, just be sure to stay until the end of this video to never miss out on the very important stimulus news.
Because of that law, more than 167 million of those rescue payments of up to $1,400 have gone out to individual families. A recent study, the Census Bureau data found just how much these checks mattered. They drastically reduced depression, according to the study, anxiety, and hardship for families. More than 40% fewer families struggle to afford food, rent, utilities, car payments, student loans, and healthcare expenses. Small businesses and restaurants were getting killed. Now we're delivering loans and support they need to reopen and to stay open.
And what President Biden is trying to do to make a deal with Republicans on sending out the fourth stimulus check. In a concession to Republicans, President Biden proposed that raising the corporate tax rate to pay for a massive bipartisan infrastructure package. Now everybody, Joe Biden proposed that instead of raising the corporate tax rate to pay for a massive bipartisan infrastructure package, that they would work to ensure corporations don't exploit tax loopholes. But according to the White House, President Biden still supports raising corporate taxes to cover other parts of his agenda. Joe Biden's latest infrastructure counteroffer, proposed to Republican senators last week. The tweaked proposal would no longer raise the corporate tax rate from 21% to 28%, relying on other funding components of Biden's American Jobs Plan. And that includes increasing tax enforcement on the country's wealthiest earners and ensuring the largest corporations, some of which have avoided paying any taxes because of loopholes. This week, the White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki stated 15% should be completely acceptable to a number of Americans who have said that the bottom line is they want to keep the 2017 tax law untouched. Psaki made it clear that President Biden has not abandoned his push to increase the corporate tax rate to pay for proposals like the American Families Plan that includes subsidized childcare in national pre-kindergarten. President Biden has signaled that he wants at least $1 trillion in spending on infrastructure, in addition to $400 billion in baseline spending already approved for infrastructure needs. So far, everybody, Republicans have said that they're willing to pay for only physical infrastructure, such as repairs to roads, bridges, and airports, as well as broadband expansion. And now the Colorado Senate has just passed 5 stimulus bills this week. 2 are headed for the governor's desk, and 3 bills are waiting for a final House vote. Colorado Governor Jared Polis will receive bills addressing small business aid and tutoring for students. And this is awesome news. House Representative Ilhan Omar just wrote on Twitter that the success of these 3 stimulus checks will be a case study for implementing universal basic income. She said on Twitter back in February that we need $2,000 recurring checks until the end of the crisis. I joined a push for $2,000 recurring payments for Americans until the economy is recovered. Now millions of Americans support universal basic income, which is a form of social security that guarantees money to recipients. And the concept of universal basic income is not new. More recently, former presidential candidate Andrew Yang made it a centerpiece of his presidential campaign. Yang's proposal is to provide recurring income every month forever and is not tied to the economic crisis. Under Yang's plan, every U.S. citizen over the age of 18 will receive $1,000 a month, or $12,000 per year. And these are guaranteed payments that would continue forever. And Vice President Kamala Harris does support $2,000 a month stimulus checks. While $2,000 a month stimulus checks are tied to the crisis and will be limited in duration, universal basic income would continue indefinitely.
Well, I think the president's making the decisions. And when we went to the Oval Office, 6 of us, to talk about a bipartisan infrastructure package, the president basically tasked us to come back with something close to $1 trillion in the areas in the scope that we as Republicans feel constitutes infrastructure.
The plan provided those resources to get shots in people's arms, underwrite the vaccination effort, enough vaccine supply for every single American, more vaccinators, people to put shots in the arms, and more vaccination sites. And now, 52% of American adults are fully vaccinated. 75% of our seniors are fully vaccinated. And the American Rescue Plan delivered economic benefits directly to the American people. Because of that law, more than 167 million of those rescue payments of up to $1,400 have gone out to individual families. A recent study, the Census Bureau data found just how much these checks mattered. They drastically reduced depression, according to the study, anxiety, and hardship for families. More than 40% fewer families struggle to afford food, rent, utilities, car payments, student loans, and healthcare expenses. Small businesses and restaurants were getting killed. Now we're delivering loans and support they need to reopen and to stay open. Schools were struggling to reopen, so we made vaccinating teachers a priority. We delivered schools the much support they needed. State and local governments had to lay off tens of thousands of educators and first responders. Many are now back on the job thanks to the rescue plan. In fact, in May, state and local governments added 103,000 education jobs and returned them to work. These funds are continuing to get out this month to support state and local governments, which will help get more people back to work. Small and medium-sized businesses are now able to take advantage of a special tax credit called the Employee Retention Tax Credit. It provides businesses a generous tax credit to retain or hire more workers. Through our Restaurant Revitalization Fund, we anticipate being able to help over 100,000 hard-hit restaurants stay open or reopen. And beginning next month, most families with children will be getting a tax cut, which should be going and deposited in their accounts directly into their bank accounts every month. We know that access to child care is one of the biggest barriers in the way of parents going back to work. Our administration is delivering $39 billion in child care relief to help child care providers get back on their feet, the providers, and serve more families. And this month, our economy added nearly 20,000 more child care jobs that weren't there last month, in fact, allowing parents to have access to get help. And temporary boost in unemployment benefits that we enacted, help people who lost their jobs through no fault of their own and who still may be in the process of getting vaccinated, but it's going to expire in 90 days. That makes sense, it expires in 90 days.
Spending. What we know is we need to make a lot of these investments up front, and in the same way that a responsible business or family might take out a longer-term loan in order to fund an immediate home improvement or investment in a business, America needs to make sure we're investing in the roads and bridges. We can't say, well, 15 years from now we're going to get around to that, or 20 years from